spotted lanternfly, and this is not an uncommon pest to you as far as our discussion goes. This has not been found in live form in Fairfax County. We have found it as dead insects that came in on shipment. There have been sightings of spotted lanternfly throughout Virginia on different shipments, very commonly picked up in transport of different nursery products or even shipment of other things for the nursery trade. Remember, this is first found in the US in Pennsylvania. And if you joined us a little bit late, I was talking about a video that it is found in many counties in Pennsylvania, just outside of Philadelphia. In Center City, Philadelphia, it is in large numbers. And you can find videos of these little guys crawling up city buildings and landing in front of restaurants in large clusters, you know, inches deep. They have this venation along their wings, and they hold their wings in a tent-like form. The only time that you will see them spread out, as you typically see, and you've seen this when I've shown you these guys in class, okay? The only time that you see them as spread out with their wings is when they're dying or when they're dead. They flutter about as adults. They will flutter about to a courtship for the male adults. Okay, so here are a few of the sizes that you see of the different instars. The first instar usually hatches from the egg masses sometime around late April, early May, and you'll have the first instar, and then they will molt into these successive instars throughout the season and reach their fourth instar to this red spotted appearance to around June and July. It depends on the degree days, the warmth of the temperature, when they will hatch. So it's really based on the number of days of warm days that we have and warm temperatures. So if we have a warmer spring, they may hatch earlier. If it's colder, it may hatch later into May. These are second and third instar nymphs that were caught on a sticky trap on a tree. A lot of these slides are from Eric Day and Mark Suffin, who these are from the Winchester area. We started seeing these in Winchester about 2018. It is known that they were shipped from the location in Pennsylvania to a place in Winchester, Frederick County, on landscape stone that was imported from Japan. The reason why I say this is that it is not something that you're always going to see on nursery stock. The favorite meal or the favorite plant that this insect feeds on is tree of heaven. The tree of heaven is an invasive itself. They are doing all kinds of control for tree of heaven, and when we see tree of heaven, that is something that they will go to without any kind of lure or pheromones. So that is what they use with those sticky traps on the tree of heaven. The threat of SLF or spotted lanternfly, huge agricultural threat to apples and grapes. As far as our ag economy and its effect on ag economy in Virginia, that is the largest concern, is apples and grapes. Secondarily, if we get this kind of as far as other business implications, it's going to do a lot of permitting and quarantine action with a lot of things that are traveling from different places in the state. Stone, gravel, think about all the quarries in our state that travel from one area to another, transporting things. and then also being a nuisance for homeowners and landowners. And this is what, where they kind of cluster together in mass. They create this honeydew on all kinds of things in the yard and in the landscape, on toys, benches, other things below, and they really create a mess. These nymphs usually are about 10 times the size of an aphid. So when they start feeding on the phloem of the plant, they will start to excrete honeydew, which is their waste. And the honeydew will grow that sooty mold, that black sooty mold that you see on the plant. They will definitely affect our agritourism in the state. I see it being a major challenge. If you think about going out where it's wine country or other places and then having these things flying around, if you remember the brown marmorated stink bug, I remember going out apple picking and rushing to the car with those brown marmorated stink bugs hopping back in the car with us. Here's where the fourth instar nymphs start to you see a little bit of damage. This is actually, this plant is, I'm pretty sure it's walnut, and you see where it was using its feeding tube to insert into the phloem and creates that damage. It's not going to kill a lot of trees. It's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to create a lot of nuisance. We're going to have a lot of questions about this. I say when we see it, because I know we will see different stages of this, and we may see this as little kind of sprinkles, the way Eric Day describes it as little sprinkles before the storm. And we've seen this around in Winchester and Frederick County. It started in an area that was about a mile by 3 miles wide, and now it is over 66 miles wide and over a larger multi-county area. It's all the way down as far as Augusta County, where they found it in some of the rest stops where there's some trucking and shipping. And then as far east, close to us, is in Clark County, just about reaching Loudoun County. So this is widespread where it first was seen in Pennsylvania, and then was shipped here to Virginia. These little purple dots that you see that are in little dots around the state in counties where it's been seen are individual finds of spotted lanternfly, but no infestation was present, meaning that no live life stages or infestation are present. So we have seen this in shipping. We have seen it come in on pallets of different shipping products that have come in on nursery. We've seen it in Prince William County and Fauquier County and Culpeper. So I want you to know that it's really important to look on different plant products. And again, it's been seen as far north as New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and then there are the counties that are colored in blue have an infestation present. And these solid red lines are where that quarantine is currently in place. Okay, so there is an internal state quarantine right here for Frederick County, but it is very likely that it will be expanded towards Clark County as well. It's a little bit in West Virginia, Maryland, hopped a few different counties here in Pennsylvania, and then moved over. Okay. Spotted lanternfly life cycle. This is a handout that I've given to you guys, and I really like this. We are right here. We're seeing egg stages right now. No live stages should be seen. So if you have reports of seeing this, the times that we've seen this at this time of year have been indoors, where people may have had Christmas trees. I think it was in New Jersey, where some egg masses were seen on Christmas trees, and then it was brought into the house. Those egg masses hatched, and they got up to about the second or third instar in this black and white spotted stage, and were hopping around people's houses and feeding on their house plants. So that can happen too, and is not an unlikely thing. There are a massive amount of resources for spotted lanternfly. Eric Day has done a great job of keeping us up to date. So I encourage you to go to the website. There's also a place that you can report sightings of it, and that goes to this link. This is all at extvt.edu/spotted lanternfly. A lot of the information has also been translated into Spanish. So if you or any of your neighborhood folks or anybody needs any material or outreach information, we have also tattoos and stickers and keychains and all kinds of stuff like that. Please let me know, and I can get it to you for some kind of outdoor neighborhood event or other kind of civic or community type event, garden clubs, those sorts of things. Here's the European hornet versus the giant hornet, and then of course the eastern cicada killer versus the Asian giant hornet. Okay, now we typically see both of these insects, the European hornet and the eastern cicada killer, every year, and this is what I would get in as pictures, thinking from the public, thinking that they had the Asian giant hornet, this murder hornet. So the European hornet is found in the eastern US, and it is quite large and robust. It has, once you trap it or it's dead, you'll notice that these markings on its abdomen are very distinctive compared to the markings that you see here. And what happens is a lot of people just get scared of the size, because these guys, these European hornets, will come and fly into your house or fly towards your screens or your screen door, attracted to your patio light or the light in your kitchen where your screen sliding door is, your sliding glass door, and they will do like a suicide hit into the window or the door. I've had them fly into my house. They immediately are attracted to the dining room light, and they're flying around and buzzing around the dining room light. So that is an indication that it is also a European hornet, because they are definitely attracted to that at night. Now the other thing is you can take a picture. Folks have taken pictures and sent them to me, and I can ID them pretty easily, or if not, send them to Eric Day. This other guy, the eastern cicada killer, is found in the East and the Midwest, and it can be up to 2 inches long. It has a smaller head than this Asian giant hornet right here, and has a reddish thorax, and it has rounder eyes rather than the different eyes that you see here from the Asian giant hornet. What I will say is you will see a vast amount of these eastern cicada killers this year, because we are going to have the 17-year periodical cicada. That is brood X or brood 10. I would rather you call it brood 10. I have heard entomologists call it brood X, but it is brood 10. They use Roman numerals to describe all of the cicada broods. This is a 17-year cicada. The last time we saw this guy was in 2004. If you did not live in Northern Virginia in 2004, you didn't get to experience this glorious event. But what I will say is you are about to experience the most amazing entomological event in the world. And you will experience this because these only are seen every 17 years. These insects come out, usually start building their holes around March and April as the soil warms up, and I'll describe them. The cicada killer that I showed you earlier feeds on cicadas. They will carry these cicadas as they're screaming at the cicada killer, and which is a wasp, a beneficial wasp, and that cicada killer wasp will not hurt you unless you threaten it. Unless you pick up that cicada killer, it will not hurt you. But it will pick up a cicada and will take it into its solitary hole into the ground and feed it to its young. That cicada killer wasp is a solitary wasp that has holes underground and will feed their babies, these cicadas. It's a very rich source of protein. So let me start describing these Magicicada species. Now these species, brood 10, will emerge across 15 states, and it is the largest brood across the whole eastern United States. This is the year, folks. This is like the rock concert. This is like the rock band. If you liked hard metal, heavy metal rock, this is compared, the sound is compared to that. We'll hear sounds in upwards of 80 to 100 decibels. This is kind of like the boys in the band kind of insects, you know what I mean? Like they've been underground since 2004, sucking on the sap of trees, sucking on the xylem, a very, very insignificant nutrition source, but they are ready to party. So we may have seen some of these in 2017, if you recall. That was due to some acceleration in some of the brood. These pictures you see here are actually my hand and I think it's Angie's car tire from 2017. As I said, they can emit sounds 80 to 100 decibels, and the adults will lay their eggs high up in the treetops. They will hatch, and once they emerge from the ground, they will do their thing, party it up, and lay their eggs up into the branches of trees. I'll show you some pictures of that. And then 4 to 6 weeks later, usually around July, they hatch and will fall to the ground and burrow back into the soil. Their offspring will head back underground, like I said, and then end up emerging back in 2038. So we won't see these guys for another 17 years. The better part of a childhood, 17 years. So these insects are also attracted to power tools, and you might be mowing the lawn or doing something outside in the middle of the day, and these cicadas land on you and you're wondering why. Those male cicadas are attracted to that humming. They're looking for that female to have its babies, carry my nymphs, be the mother of my nymphs. Those male cicadas make the sound in their hollow abdomen, almost like a drum. They beat on this organ. It's a muscle called a timbal, and that muscle creates that humming sound. And they have different sounds throughout the season. They have different courtship calls and different changes in pitch. And you'll notice them as that 2 to 3 weeks goes on when they're above ground. So here we go. This is where 2021, where the cicada brood 10 will be. A brood is, as I was saying, a brood is a group of cicadas. Brood 10 is the largest in population. They will emerge in some areas of Fairfax County up to 1.5 million per acre. And there are 12 different broods of cicadas that were discovered by a scientist years ago. Those 12 different broods are 17-year cicadas, and there's 3 broods of 13-year cicadas. Now, these periodical cicadas emerge in huge groups called broods because of species satiation. What's going underground, they go under these different life cycles, stages underground, 4 different stages. Here are the eggs that then hatch, and the nymphs become these little guys crawling underground, and they tunnel underground about 12 to 18 inches and feed on the roots, feed on the xylem of different trees and shrubs. They're not sleeping underground. They're feeding on xylem tissue, and they're doing a lot of different soil aeration. And once they soil starts to warm up to about 64 degrees, then, and those of you who have soil thermometers, this is going to be a fun game for you, but they're going to move up and down and create this tunneling, and you're going to see holes, and people have seen these holes already. You've seen them in the fall. They move up and down within the soil structure. They create these tunnels. As the soil warms up in March and April and May, they'll continue to make those tunnels. They might even create these little mounds or chimneys above the tunnels. And then eventually, once the soil warms up to 64 degrees, they will emerge en masse in the evening at night and will crawl up to any surface, whether it's your house, your car, your tires, trees, lawn toys. And they'll crawl up and they will emerge from their last nymphal skin and will pop out of the back of that skin where it's really soft and weak, and will come out and become this adult cicada. These adult cicadas start out as this little white looking new adult that does not have its hemolymph or its blood pumping through all of those veins yet. Okay, so once you get, you're gonna have people say, I found a weird cicada. I found a new albino cicada. They're not albino cicadas. This is the process they go through, just like a butterfly would, to go through and have the ability to fly. They have to warm up and develop their color. They'll develop that nice black looking, shiny head with the red eyes. They have actually 5 eyes. Here's 3 more eyes right here, and here's 2 eyes right here. They stay underground for that 17 years to overwhelm their predators. The predator satiation is their strategy so that they can then mate and be able to survive. This is their strategy as a species, okay? When you think about this, it's just an amazing sight. Our time here on the East Coast, this is the only time that this happens all in unison with brood 10, okay? These are some of the cast skins, the shells that you'll see under the tree underground. And here's where the female will use its ovipositor once they mate, and I think I have a picture coming up, to lay its eggs. Typically the life cycle is about 2 to 3 weeks that you'll see this insect. They will be gone after 2 to 3 weeks. What problems you might see with other trees, other shrubs, is a little bit of breakage or damage. Pencil thickness, the thickness of a pencil or pen, is usually the size of the branches where they lay their eggs. They like soft barks, trees and shrubs like fruit trees, dogwood, things that have really thin bark. We do have the annual cicada. I just want to mention this. This is the one that we see every August and late July. It's more robust and it has different coloration. It's a much bigger and fatter cicada. It's called the Annual Dog Day Cicada. It's not because it comes out during the dog days of summer. It's because it comes out during the time that you see the Dog Day constellation stars, and that's how it got its name. Okay, so damage from cicadas. Typically what you'll see in early July is flagging on those trees where they laid their eggs. They typically will lay their eggs, like I said, on branches that are about the thickness of a pen or pencil. And that branch will break off and will land and fall to the ground. The eggs will hatch, and that first stage of the nymph will crawl into the soil And again, we'll spend 17 more years until 2038 underground, and then we'll emerge again. Here are some of the maps again of brood 10, so that you see that also they emerge out here in the Ohio Valley region and Indiana, and then also along the southern portion of Virginia, North Carolina, and into little parts of South Carolina and Georgia. Again, the soil will reach 64 degrees and they'll start to emerge. And when you keep in touch with the Maryland folks, the Maryland newsletter, they have all of the soil temperature and degree days, and they'll be predicting this emergence for sure. It'll be all over the news and we'll get tons of questions about them. What to do for smaller trees or trees that you don't want to see that damage. If it's a small tree, something that you planted new, something that you want to protect, something you're afraid to see so much damage on, or you're just getting too many cicadas on there, go ahead and cover it up with a little netting, and that netting will provide some protection for that 2 to 3 weeks time. Okay.